All right, folks, welcome back to the TNT show. Coming off a super wild card weekend. We still got one game left today, so we're gonna keep it short so that way we don't take up too much detail for all of the games that we want to talk about in depth wise. So today we just gonna kind of touch surface on some of the games that myself and Tyler watched and just kind of let y'all know what we thought as far as how those games went. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it.
Yeah, like you said, tomorrow be more in depth. So be on the lookout for that. Just breaking it down a little bit further. Breaking news, McCarthy got let go from the Cowboys. That's interesting because, Chicago just reached out to them and wanted to talk to him and they said no. So I'm confused why they didn't let him do that, but maybe they
I
didn't
just
want somebody that was already part of their staff to go talk. I don't know how that works. I don't know. The
uh,
Cowboys do cowboy things. So that didn't make any sense. So he'll get a job somewhere in the next couple weeks, I'm sure.
I think that's probably it's probably the best situation for him though, because obviously he was probably catching a lot of heat just for how that team was going. When in all honesty, I think, and I'll say it, till I'm blue in the face, they should have just let that go. I mean, that was the biggest issue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what their thought process is or what it was, but we won't get too much into that. Now they got to find him a coach. But
Yep.
yeah, jumping into the wild card, some good games. Uh, we were pretty. I'd say we were pretty close to our predictions. Like you said, the Rams Vikings play tonight. It got pushed to today because of all the wildfire and everything that's going on in LA. And that sucks. I couldn't imagine, you know, watching everything that I've built and my home and everything that I've worked so hard for just get burned to the ground.
Yeah, that's terrible. Our thoughts and prayers go out to
Yeah, to everybody in LA for sure. And the
yeah, that's
crazy
that's
part is
terrible.
is all like all their insurance companies canceled their coverage 2 months ago.
What?
So they canceled their coverage. All the fire hydrants didn't have water in them. It's kind of like it was a setup.
Seems like
I don't want to speculate. I'm not there. That's just what I read. That's what I read. What I seen. You know, I'm not gonna make speculations. But like you said, thoughts, prayers going out to everybody. Whether you're famous, not famous. A lot of high profile people live in LA, live in California, and places like that. So they have the money and the means to rebuild, but it's more than that. I get they had the money. Like it's not going to be a problem for them to build another house. They're millionaires, but
exactly.
there's still memories and stuff that you can't replace. But again, so that game is today. So we'll recap that tomorrow. We'll just go down the list. Chargers, Texans. I'll save my spill for tomorrow. But the Texans, their defense is clicking. I mean, I think they're back to where they were.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not fully convinced the Chargers were as good as their record showed, but
True. True.
I mean, this was a lopsided wild card. To be honest, we really only had one upset.
That was the best game too. I mean,
So
as far as the Chargers and Texans went, was it really the fact that the Texans defense was just that good, or did Justin Herbert just have a really bad game?
both.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. The Texans played really good defensively, but I mean, if you turn the ball, he had four interceptions, two
Four
pick six.
picks.
Wasn't what one of them was a two? It wasn't
Yeah.
one or two of them a pick six.
I know one for sure was a pick six. I'm not sure about another one.
But yeah, you throw four picks, and that's pretty much where the points from. That's pretty much where the Texans got their points. To be honest, a lot of it. But I'll save my spill for tomorrow. I'll touch on it a little bit. I don't know. Chargers got some work to do.
Yeah, yeah. I think you just kind of tip your hats off to them. They were a lot better than a lot of people thought this
Yeah, I
season.
mean they made the playoffs.
But playoffs is a different kind of beast. I mean, it means a lot more to a lot of different players. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they just came up on the short end of that.
And it's like we predicted. That game was kind of a coin flip. It was kind of both teams were, I'd say on the mid-level card. So
Yeah.
it could have went either way.
My
Now,
my prediction was actually wrong though. I picked the Chargers, but I only picked the Chargers because they were the healthier team. So unfortunately, the healthier team didn't really mean a lot for them this week.
yeah, like we talked about. That's just kind of what it comes down to. The Texans leaned on their defense, and they you can do that in the
Yeah.
playoffs. The saying will always be defense is going to wins a championship.
Yep.
Go out there, don't make mistakes, play defense, especially when the other team's turning the ball over every chance they get. You just got to make the most of it. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Again, Pittsburgh. These last 6 games, I don't know what their problem is. They suck. They haven't won a game in 6 games. Yeah, 5 or 6 games. Yeah,
they were very in that first half. There was no sense of urgency. Like you could tell that they didn't really feel like their season was on the line, down 21-0. I mean, yeah, they they tried to fight in that second half, but Baltimore was really just doing whatever they wanted, and that was them being down with their best receiver. So you can
yeah,
only think when Zay Flowers comes back, like that's not even the peak of their offense.
yeah. Will
So
he be back for the Buffalo game? I don't
I don't
know.
know if he's not. I think that's going to be a little tougher on the Ravens because they'll still, all those same guys who were making those plays, they're going to need them.
They did what they were supposed to do. They ran
Exactly.
Derrick Henry. Like you said, they could have scored 40 if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that they could have scored at least 40. They just killed clock because Pittsburgh just couldn't do nothing. I thought
Yeah.
like you said, I thought Pittsburgh was going to try to make a comeback. They scored. I was like, okay, they're going to make a comeback, and then it just fell off. Like they just can't. They couldn't get anything going. But they got a lot of question marks to answer themselves. I don't want to be a broken record too much with saying this, but we'll get in more into that tomorrow. But hey, Baltimore, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Again, there's 2 teams that played this weekend that you're going to have to score at least 30, at least 30 to beat them, at least. And that's it's going to take 30, 40 points to beat them probably. At least 35 probably, but yeah, like I said, at least 30. So, yeah, the Ravens now they got an easier path.
Oh,
Well,
I wouldn't. I
because
wouldn't
they got
call
to
it
play
easy.
Buffalo. I'm
They
sorry,
gotta
they
go.
play
They gotta
Buffalo.
go to Buffalo and play
I'm
Buffalo.
sorry. I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking of the NFC, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the. I don't know. I don't know. I just lost train of thought. Anyway,
Well, the Chiefs. I'll say the Chiefs probably got the easiest path right now. Their opponent is the Texans.
yeah,
Obviously, we're not going to jump into talking about that game, but I'll just say that if the Texans defense can play their brand of football, and get Patrick Mahomes off track, I think they got a shot.
Yeah, they got
And
a shot.
I'll leave it at that.
We got the Packers and the Eagles
Man,
again. Again, I don't know. I mean, you can cut Green Bay some slack, I guess. They did lose 3 of their wide receivers, and that does make a difference.
yeah, but
I mean, it's like they came out and just didn't want to play. Jordan Love played terrible.
yeah, they fumbled the opening kickoff. Basically gave the
Yeah.
Eagles a free possession to start the game.
Yeah, and then the Eagles scored.
So
I mean, like we said, but again, the Eagles were just a better team. Saquon's rolling right now. And again, they probably could have scored a lot more than 22. They just didn't.
true.
You know, at the end of the game, Saquon broke off that long run and slid. He could have scored. But in his defense, he came out and said he didn't want anybody from his team to get hurt. He didn't want to get hurt. He didn't want anybody from the Packers to get hurt. It was meaningless at that point. Like, you already won the game.
Yeah, the game's already over. Just, most.
Yeah, you don't want him breaking off a long run and tearing his Achilles or pulling a hammy.
Yeah, most
Him getting
pros
tackled and breaking a leg.
know, like, if the game's pretty much over, you got a breakaway touchdown, you're not going in there. You're gonna slide, you're gonna be a pro's pro, you're gonna kneel it out, and you're gonna go home and get ready for next week. You moving on.
Yeah, you already won. Again, I think the Eagles got a lot to work on.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough. But again, really good team though. But their defense is banged up, so the Commanders and Bucks, like you said, this was the best game of the weekend for sure, by far. My heart wanted to take the Commanders when we did our predictions, but I was trying not to be biased.
Oh, we'll see. Sometimes you can kind of skew the line.
My heart wanted to because, obviously I like Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
but I just kind of figured that the Bucks could win, but I don't know. The Commanders did what they were supposed to do. They did not punt one time. They went for it on 4th down every time. They didn't punt one time. And they put it in Jaden Daniels' hands. Okay, if we're gonna win, we're gonna win. I mean, they're riding off of the best season they've had in 20 years. And sometimes you just gotta roll with it. All right, this is it. We didn't come all this way to lose. You know what I mean? I guess that's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
What did you have to lose? Nobody gave the Commanders a chance.
I mean, honestly, I don't feel like they were a real 6 seed, because you got to think they only lost 5 games on the season and they ended up as a 6 seed, but that's just because the NFC was so good and the NFL seeding is, in my opinion, questionable.
But I like that they played the Bucks because I don't think they probably could have beat the Eagles. They've already beat them once. They split the matchup. They got beat, and then they beat them. I think they could have beat the Eagles.
Didn't they beat them when Jalen Hurts was?
Yeah, but they came back and beat them.
I mean, that's true, but it's still a different quarterback. I don't think they can beat them with Jalen Hurts at the helm, in my honest opinion.
I don't know. They almost did the last time. They went toe-to-toe with them.
Almost only counts. And how's it go? What, horseshoes and hand grenades?
Hand grenades.
Yeah.
So, but the Commanders are a really good team. They got a lot of, I wouldn't say talent, but you can just tell that they wanted it more. It meant something to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't I don't know how much it meant to the kicker though, because he was stressed out going out there to
Oh
kick
yeah,
that
he
field
was
goal.
taking his shoe off, his sock off, change his shoes. He was over there pacing, sweating. He probably don't even remember kicking it.
He
I
probably
bet he. I
closed
bet
his
he
eyes
blacked
after
out.
he kicked it.
I bet he blacked out. Yeah.
But I mean, regardless, they won the game. Call it luck, call it skill, whatever. They got a doink in for the win. I mean, hats off to them. Like you said, they're moving on. Um,
Yep.
they got to keep it rolling.
On to the divisional. Well, we'll get to that when we do our predictions. And then you had
Yeah,
the Broncos and the Bills.
the
And I
biggest blow
kind
up.
of expected the Bills. I kind of said it. I kind of mentioned it in the last week's episode that the Bills could blow them out, and they did. I'll give you this: the first drive, Denver went right down the field. Buffalo wasn't even out there and scored, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a good game. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't know
think
if that woke up Buffalo. They're like, okay,
yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That woke Buffalo right on up, and they said, "Oh, absolutely not. We're not going to make this a game. Let's lock in because we are here to handle business. This is a rookie quarterback. Let's throw the kitchen sink at him."
yep. And they were throwing everything in. Now I'll give Bo Nix credit. He played pretty good. The score doesn't show it,
No, it doesn't.
but he played really well,
Yeah, yeah.
all things considered.
I think he handled the pressure very well. I mean, in some instances, could there have been
They
better
had a
plays
lot
that
of
were made?
drops. They had a
Yeah,
lot of drops. It's a carousel. I won't get too much into it, but their team is just they're young.
yeah. It
They
was
got a
a
lot of stuff to figure out.
very young team. I mean, that's not the first time Buffalo has
But you had to
blown
go
out a.
toe to toe with arguably one of the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Arguably
unfortunate.
the MVP. You had to go against arguably an the MVP. So that's tough.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And it's Buffalo hasn't lost a home game all year. The only losses they have are on the road. So I'm a little worried about that. But they have home field till they play in the divisional. I mean the conference championship, unless they win, unless Kansas City gets beat,
Exactly.
then they'll have home field. But yeah, the Bills are a really good team, and again, the they said it right off the bat when I watched the game right off the bat. The first thing that they said was Denver's defense is really small, and you could tell that Buffalo was just running it down their throat. They couldn't stop the run.
Go ahead and say it.
The Bills were just going to be too physical for them, and you could tell right off the bat that they couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, they were pretty
James
much.
Cook was cooking them. Josh Allen was cooking them. The Bills could have scored 40 if they wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean,
They took Josh Allen out of the game.
there's no point. I mean, you're already up big. There's no need to risk somebody getting injured. Save
I'm
yourself for
about to say
next week.
they pulled their starters. I mean, it wasn't like the fourth quarter, but it was like the last drive or two, I think, where they
Yeah,
pulled Josh Allen.
yeah,
Because I mean, yeah, you don't want him out there getting hurt. He don't need to be out there taking a knee and slipping and tearing something.
exactly.
But yeah, the Bills did what they were supposed to do. That's kind of what I figured was going to happen. But Denver had a good defense. They tried, but Buffalo was just too much.
Yeah, Buffalo, like you said, they were just too physical. I mean,
Yeah, their
they
offensive
lot.
line made Denver's defensive line look. It was realistically it was kind of unfair.
Yeah, they were pretty much running the ball at will.
Yeah, they were just
And
running the ball down their throat.
if the play broke down, Josh Allen just made something happen with his legs in most cases. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's
and
just like I said.
I can't imagine on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 him doing that push or whatever you want to call it. You're not stopping that. He's six what 6'5",
Yeah,
six
he's a
six
big boy.
six 6'5". That's a big dude. You're not stopping that. He's too big.
Yeah,
I mean, I know a lot of teams do it, but I couldn't imagine trying to stop him doing that.
Oh, it's terrible.
No, yeah, you're not stopping him. That's just unfair. They could line up and do that every play, and I don't think you'd stop them. You'd probably stop them once, but jumping into next week, we have the Texans and the Chiefs, uh, Commanders and the Lions. Obviously, we don't know who's playing the Eagles and the Bills and the Ravens. So there's a lot of good games.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of good games.
So let's start off with the Texans and the Chiefs. So
I'm
what
rolling
you
with the
think?
upset.
You're gonna take the Texans?
Yep, I might be wrong, but I really think if the Texans can come out there and, like I said, knock Patrick Mahomes off track, get him off his rocker, knock him out of his element, they will have a chance to win that football game, and I think they could make it happen.
Offensively for the Texans, they just can't turn the ball over. You got to one thing. There's a couple different ways. You got to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. You got to limit the possessions for them.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's the game. I'm taking the points. I don't care. Kick the field goal
yeah.
because the Chiefs have been in a lot of close games, and that's kind of what it's come down to. I'm taking the points if I'm the Texans. I might go for it maybe once at the beginning of the game just to try to score. But like you said, Texans play. They got to play defense. They got to hang in there. CJ Stroud can't make mistakes,
I
but they got to
mean,
go on the road to Arrowhead where Patrick Mahomes has been unstoppable.
Chiefs have a top 5 defense too, so that's gonna be tough to go in there to Arrowhead
Yeah, and
and
beat
to
them.
take them down.
They've only been beat twice in the
I
playoffs.
think
So
I think it could be a low scoring game. Uh, like I said, they both have great defenses. Uh, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are kind of rolling offensively now, so I think that might be a little tougher for the Texans. But I don't want to take anything from them. I think they can limit them.
yeah, they just gotta. It's either one or the other. You got to stop them, or you're going to have to go score to score with them.
Yeah, that's
Because
the only other
Mahomes and
way.
them, they're gonna score. Um, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I don't know if the Texans are gonna be. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to go the Chiefs. Just the experience factor. It's at home. I would be a little. It's like we talked about earlier. If I'm the Texans, I'm going to watch film of everybody that they lost that to that Cincinnati game. What did Cincinnati do to beat them, and what did Buffalo do to beat them? Because Buffalo's already beat them once, beat them by 11. So what did Buffalo do to limit Patrick Mahomes and their offense? I think they're going. I think the Texans are going to have to score at least 30 to beat them.
Yeah, I mean that's the marker. But I mean, if you're gonna rely on your defense, I think they could probably score 20 and beat them
Yeah, maybe
because the
we'll
Chiefs
see. This
haven't.
is this is a big game for C.J. Stroud,
Yeah, I
and their
mean
offensive line is terrible.
the Chiefs
So I'm a
haven't been
little
a
concerned about that.
they haven't been a particularly high scoring offense this year either. So against a solid defense, which the Texans are, like I said, if they can limit them and keep them out of the end zone, make them kick field goals, make them go for it on fourth down and stop them, then they can come out of that fight with a win.
And then yeah, so I'm a yeah. I think that'll be it. It'll probably be a good game, but the Chiefs honestly could run away with it. And
Possibility.
then we got the Commanders and the Lions.
It's probably gonna be high scoring. Then again,
Probably.
it might not be. I'm gonna
I'm gonna let
say,
you. I'm gonna let you do your pick first.
yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions. Um, they've proven that they can win in any facet, like by a lot, by a close margin. Jared Goff can throw 5 picks and they can still win a game. So, like I said,
Yeah.
I've been saying it
It
for a
took the
while.
Bills 50 points to beat them.
They look the part. So you're either going to outscore them or
You're just going to have to outscore them. There's no other.
yeah, that's about the best way to put it. They're one of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL. So you realistically, you got to outscore them.
I want to take the upset with the Commanders, but I just don't know if they can. I don't know if they can do it.
Yeah, you had your chance with that one last week. You might as well just go ahead and pick the favorite this time.
I just don't know if they can. I don't know if they can. I think they can. I'm just worried that if it got away from them, that I don't know if they can come back because the Lions are really good. Their defense is good. Their offense has been unstoppable. I mean, the
Pretty
only
much.
two. I mean, like I said, the Bills had to score 50 to beat them. So I'm probably gonna have to roll with the Lions. My heart still wants to go with the Commanders, but they got to go to Detroit and play in Detroit.
That's tough.
You know their crowd's gonna be rocking.
Yeah, if there anything,
I'm just gonna go upset. I'm gonna go upset with the Commanders.
oh man, I thought you were better than that.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go upset with the Commanders. Imagine the Commanders beat the Lions. I mean,
Uh,
last year Dan Campbell sold them in the same spot that we're sitting.
we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know if the Commanders have enough, but they have been in some close games. They've been in some really good games. I just don't know if they have enough, but I'm just gonna cheer for Jaden Daniels.
Nothing
Can
wrong
they
with
beat
that.
them? I don't know if they can, but that's who I'm just gonna roll with the upset. You never know.
Well, lock it in.
And then we don't know who's playing the Eagles yet, so we'll get to that tomorrow. And then we got the Ravens and the Bills.
This will probably be
The
the
battle of the MVPs.
this will probably be the best game, in my
Do you
opinion.
think whoever wins this game wins the MVP?
I think they already got that decided. I don't think this game is really going to determine who wins the MVP.
I don't know.
MVP
It
is
could.
MVP is based off regular season, not playoffs.
They say that.
Nah, but it's the truth though.
It's. I mean, the spread is basically even. They got Baltimore by one.
Yeah, that's you already know who I'm going with. I can't change up now. I'm not saying they're my favorite to win the whole thing, but I think
I think
my
that game's going to be high scoring. It might be 45-42. It might be high
realistically
scoring
it
too.
could. It's either going to be that or both defenses are going to show up and show out, and it's going to be a lower scoring, like maybe in like the 20s, somewhere like that. But if neither defense can stop either offense, then it's going to be whoever gets the ball last is probably going to win.
Yeah.
Got to play mistake-free football.
Josh Allen has to win this game.
You can say the same thing for Lamar Jackson.
I think it means a little bit more. I think it means more to Josh Allen than it does for Lamar.
I think it
Yes,
means a lot more to both of them because they both kind of have to prove now. Unfortunately, they have to play each other, but they both have to prove now that one of them
you
can get over the hump.
yeah. Which one is it? I I think I'm gonna lean Buffalo. It's Buffalo. Like I said, Buffalo hasn't lost at home. They got to go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna lean Buffalo. I don't know if they're the better team, But if you're Buffalo, the game plan is simple. You got to stop the run. That's easier said than done.
Honestly, I think the teams are about even. Both have solid defenses. Both have a quarterback that's mobile. Both have a 1,000 plus yard running back this season.
I would
Both
give the run.
teams,
I would give the run game to Baltimore. James Cook is good, but Derrick Henry is a 2K yard rusher. There's a
yeah, of
difference.
course. I mean, obviously they have the better run game, but in terms of like how the teams are built, they're almost identical in a sense.
This game is pretty much who makes that critical mistake. Who turns the ball over when they don't need to,
Yeah.
or who gets that? Because Baltimore's going to come out running the ball, but Buffalo does have a good defense.
Yeah, but like I told you, good defenses don't matter to Derrick Henry. He'll still give you 200 yards on the ground.
I'm about to say the last time they played, the Ravens blew them out.
Exactly.
But that was early. That was early. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And Henry ran for 200 yards.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but that was before Buffalo got Amari Cooper. I know he hadn't made a big difference, but
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Bills are going to come out looking to,
yeah, they're
load the
going to come
box,
out
stop
looking
the
to stop
run.
the run. Yeah, but it's like I don't know. That's going to be the best game for sure. Either way, the winner of this goes on to play the Chiefs.
Or the Texans if the Texans upset them. Just got to keep throwing that out there.
Yeah, yeah. They'll play the winner of that. Wouldn't it be something if the Texans knocked them off?
I wouldn't be surprised. I told you, man, the Texans have a really, really good defense.
I just want to see a clean game.
You will never see that again. Unfortunately, that's just
Like I don't want to
sports.
see a BS call on a pass interference or they go to tackle Patrick Mahomes and they throw a flag or something stupid. Let them play if it needs to be done.
Yeah,
But we can we can touch on the Eagles game for a little bit. We don't know who they're playing. Do you think
uh,
it matters?
yes and no. It just depends on who the opponent is. I mean, I think we can just save it because if you think about it, then we'd be doing two predictions in one. So
Either way, they got to go to Philly. So whoever it is, it doesn't matter. They got to go to Philadelphia.
yeah, I mean, whoever they got to play got to stop Saquon Barkley. So that's first thing. I think that's pretty much simple.
Yeah,
I
Philly's got
mean,
home field advantage, so it doesn't matter
yeah, I mean, plus
who it
with Jalen
is.
Hurts, returning back to the fold, I mean, you can tell he's a little rusty. So if you can make kind of, I guess, put the game in his hands, maybe you give yourself a chance, whichever team you are. But yeah, I think once the dust settles after tonight and we know who, we'll do we'll have some real good detail on that for y'all tomorrow.
Yeah. The Brown or the Eagles they lost their linebacker. Dean is out for the playoffs. That's a that's a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
The only other thing I really see, kind of off topic, off of football topic, a man was arrested for stalking Caitlin Clark.
And this is the world that we live in nowadays.
Like that, and I wanted to touch on. I know it's not NFL, but LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey he turned himself in today. Um, for people that don't know, what were they doing? Were they just? I didn't
I
really
don't
read too much into it. I don't know what was happening, but
from what I read, he was driving his car, whatever, souped up. I'm pretty sure it was a Charger or something, swerving in and out of traffic. And
yeah,
when he
being
was,
dumb.
yeah, when he was in the opposite lane, a car was coming, and the car maneuvered to avoid him, ended up wrecking into somebody else, and the guy that he wrecked into died
And he left the
and
scene, and yeah, it
left the
was
scene, didn't call anybody. So that's
that's
unfortunate. I hate that because he was about to go to the league, and you go and
well, I say that I hate that. I feel bad for the people that are involved. I don't feel bad for him. I mean, you made the decision to be stupid.
yeah, no, I'm just saying it from the aspect of I hate it because I mean you're
Yeah,
kind of
like
just
I
throwing
don't
away your future
understand. I don't
for what?
understand like how and why that these athletes put themselves in this situation. You know what some people would give to be in the position that you're in, like
Man,
from an athlete's perspective. Your life. You see all these stories about you know coming up and how they were raised, and the struggles that they faced and everything like that. And it's just like you got people out here that struggle every day to make ends meet, and then you got people like this that are just come out here and just blow everything because you want to act stupid. I hope he goes to prison. I hope he gets what he deserves. I hope he gets the maximum penalty of whatever it is. I just feel like athletes get a buy, and I don't think that that's right and fair, or however you want to put it.
I mean of course it's not, but that's the way it is a lot of times. Obviously,
You
you know,
know,
it's such a
I you know I wouldn't know what to do with that kind of money that some of these people see and get, and to come out and act crazy and to do all this stuff. Maybe they say money changes people, and maybe they're right because you can kind of see it.
yeah.
You're giving these kids nowadays millions of dollars. I wouldn't know what to. I'd probably act like a fool if I was 19, 20 years old with millions of dollars.
I mean, in all honesty, it wasn't millions back then, but a lot of the athletes were still getting paid. And, you know, I'm not acting like this kind of behavior wasn't happening back then because obviously it was. I think it's some people are just you come across some people who can be very reckless, and he's just one of the like the guys from Georgia who were racing in and out of traffic, like that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
and their coach died and everything.
Like that kind of stuff is very reckless. I mean, like I said, everybody's not like that, but you have a few people who happen to be athletes that are paid a lot of money who end up, you know, doing stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
just obviously you're not thinking about it in the moment. Like
like
if this
it's
goes
easy.
left,
It's easy to say that well, I would never do something like that. Well, I don't think I would. I probably wouldn't do nothing like that. There's no way I would do anything like that. I wouldn't put anybody's lives in danger. But sometimes it happens. Like when you go out into town and out in public, you're a you're famous. People are going to test you and push your buttons and see what they can get, because all it takes is for you to punch somebody in the face, or act crazy or whatever, and they're getting paid. And that's just, unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
yeah.
That I couldn't imagine being like a top celebrity. I couldn't imagine that. I bet it's miserable. You can't go anywhere. But yeah, that's the only other thing I've seen is Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles again. And
Oh
Mike
no,
Vrabel is the new head coach for the New England Patriots.
I think as far as him with Watson tearing his Achilles again, I think you can make a comeback off of that. But honestly, I mean, based on how his play was and the injuries racking up, I think he might just
I
want to
mean,
go
he'll
ahead and
already be out there a whole season next year. There's no way he'll be able to
yeah.
come back.
I think he might just want to go ahead and hang
Hang
it
it
up.
up.
I mean, it's unfortunate. You just the string of injuries. Now, don't get me wrong, because obviously it's a different sport. But Klay Thompson, he tore his Achilles, and then no, he tore his ACL and then tore his Achilles the following season. So he missed 2 full seasons of basketball, and he still came back and ended up getting another ring. So I'm not gonna rule out Deshaun Watson, making a comeback, but just from what I've seen from him since he's been on the Browns, it's just not, it just I just don't see it. Um
Yeah. And I highly doubt anybody's going to take the chance.
yeah. Now, Mike Vrabel for the Pats, honestly, look, I'm still standing by Gerard Mayo. I don't think he got his fair shot, but I get it. It was written in the contract that he was going to be the successor, so you gave him a shot. You didn't like it. You go out and get. I mean, again, proven coach, number one. Um, to a degree, he's proven. He took the Titans to an AFC championship, and that's,
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill. They were up 21-0 and ended up choking the lead away and losing, but, got to a conference championship. I mean, he's been to the playoffs. He helped build that Titans team back up to relevancy. So I think he can do the same for the Pats. I mean, he played for him. He was a linebacker. He's well respected within that community, within that locker room. So I think given and the Patriots are a great organization. I'm not going to take anything away from them, but this is the time now to show that y'all are more than just Tom Brady. Help this coach build this team and get them back to relevancy, because obviously they haven't been that the last, 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, since Tom Brady left, they had that one run with Matt Jones, but other than that, they've been irrelevant.
Exactly. So I'm all for Mike Vrabel. I mean, former Patriot, once a Patriot, always a Patriot. So let's see what he can do.
Um, Khalil, they said that he said that his name was pronounced differently, and I don't know how they were pronouncing it. But Khalil Mack said that he was thinking about retiring, and I get it. It's the trenches part. He's been paid. He's had a big contract. It's kind of like Aaron Donald. You get to the point where your body can only take so much.
Yeah, I mean it's the prep. Like I said, it's the preparation. I mean,
Yeah,
you're putting all that time in, and then you got to go and play a full season, and then you do it all over again once the
yeah,
season's
and there's
over.
2 more games now too, so that's a lot more than what he's used to.
Exactly, especially if you have to play in those games too, because you haven't clinched your division or you're fighting to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
So
17 games in a regular season, or 18 games. I'm sorry, 18 games, and then you got to go play. What, 4 more if you make it to the Super Bowl?
yeah, so
So that's a
mm,
lot of games.
I can get that. Plus, I mean, when it's all said and done, I think he'd be a Hall of Famer. If he decided to call it quits.
Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, I know the accolades. I don't know. I'd have to go look at the stats. I know he was at one time a really good defensive end.
I think for sure off of his prime, he's definitely a Hall of Famer because he has, like, the accolades, the stats, the awards and stuff. Obviously, with what people or how people try to make it out to be is, you got to have rings to get in, but a lot of times you really don't.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all we got. A little bit different format. We are doing a live recap of the college football playoffs and the national championship coming up. So that will be we will record that on Saturday and probably have it dropped in the next couple of days. So that's why you're not getting a college football episode like we usually do. We're just saving it for the weekend. So be on the
Yep.
lookout for that.
Yep. We're pretty much, I mean, like I said, we're coming out of football season. So once we hit y'all with our Super Bowl episode, which we'll work on trying to get y'all a live episode for that too. We'll probably, again, we'll stick with our main sports, which are, clearly football. So we'll just, keep y'all up to date with like news and different happenings in like college football and the NFL. But we'll probably, for filler stuff, we'll probably add more basketball and stuff in there. Not anything in depth, just looking around the league, because obviously there's like 30 games in college basketball, like 80 games in NBA. So we'll just try to take looks around the league and not just go on every single game that's going on.
I've seen something about basketball before we. Oh, that Anthony Edwards has been fined almost $300,000
What do
for
you do?
whatever. What? Let me see. It says docked again. Fines reach $285,000 for obscene gestures. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
He probably flipped somebody off or
Toward,
something. I
toward
ain't
a
no
game
telling.
official. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's probably what he
this is the
did. I
fifth
wouldn't
time
doubt it.
he's been fined this season and has been fined a total of $285,000.
Honestly, I cannot lie to you. I do not blame him because, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. It seems like more and more every year we get into, the refs are just getting worse and worse in these basketball games. Especially like NBA is really bad now. Like a lot of the fouls that they used to call, they're not calling them, and a lot of fouls that should be called, they're just letting them get away with it. So when players get frustrated, they crash out. But you can't really blame them, because if you're getting hit going down the lane and they're not calling it, then you're gonna get frustrated at some point. But I digress. I'm not gonna fall off into that rabbit hole, because I could talk all day about basketball.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch a little bit of it, but for me, basketball. This is just personal, but for me, basketball just it's not good till the playoffs start. I know I'm not a basketball fan, so that's probably why.
No,
But
that's no, you're that's the truth. Like, I'm as a big of a basketball fan as I am.
I
It
just feel like the regular season doesn't really mean anything because there's what 100 games.
Yeah, 82.
There's just so many games. Like well, it doesn't matter if they lose this one. Which football and it matters. Baseball same way.
Yeah.
There's just so many games in baseball and hockey and you know basketball that it doesn't really matter till playoffs, March Madness, that kind of stuff when it really matters.
Yeah, I say NBA doesn't really kick in until like I'd say maybe a few weeks before the playoffs. That's when people are really like gearing up, they're installing their whatever offense they want to run, because obviously
Yeah,
when
they're
you get to the
coming to play.
playoffs, yeah, when you get to the playoffs, you're seeing that one opponent for a 7 game series. So it's not going to be, oh, we get this team this night and that team next night. No, you have to play one team in a best of 7, and you have to make your adjustments and yada yada yada, whatever. But yeah, long story short, basketball is it's really long. It's Basketball is a tough sport, because especially if you're in the year of the Olympics. Like every 4 years you do the Olympics. So basically, after you're done with the basketball season, you go through a full summer Olympics, and then you have to go into the next basketball season too. So basically, the Celtics won a championship, and like I think three of their better players, Jason Tatum, Derek White, and Drew Holiday, went to the Olympics. So they didn't get a break this summer.
I'm about to say,
They,
well, to be fair, they didn't really play a whole lot either.
well, yeah, Jason Tatum barely played any. But again, I'm not gonna hop off into that. I'll save that for when we kind of jump into talking more about basketball. I kind of like got way off topic, but
But yeah,
I,
that's pretty much all we got. Yeah, we don't want to ramble too much.
so that'll do it for us on this episode of the TNT show. As always, thanks for listening in. Like, follow, subscribe, follow us on all our socials. They're always at the end of each video, and we will catch y'all in the next episode.